Welcome, everyone. We are back with more live Korean classes We've got one today. We have another one next Sunday. Then we'll take a break. And when we come back after that, it's actually going to be Christmas Eve. So I think I'm going to do a live stream that day anyway, though, because why not? But it will be some more of like a Q&A or something like that. Anyway, I'll announce that as it gets closer. But yes, it's great to be back again. We're going to have live streams like this, 2 on, 1 off, every week, all the way until probably May, when I'll go to Korea again. So a long time. Let's see. Just checking the chat. Oh, before I even started this live stream, I got a donation. I didn't even get to say thank you everyone who's donated so far, but I did get a donation before I even started the stream. I just saw it right now, checking my chat when I opened this stream today, by Glass Artist. I'm not sure if Glass Artist is here right now, but I definitely saw. Thank you so much to Glass Artist, who gave a $50 donation to me. Yes, these donations all go to me. I don't have a team. I wish. Maybe someday I'll have a team. It's just me, but I do appreciate it. All of your donations go directly to support this stream, future live streams, my books, my videos, all that stuff is paid for out of my own pocket. So I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Glass Artist. Let's see who is in the chat. We've got the first person who commented was Doma, who said, hey, or hi, sorry, hi. And then a few other people mentioning where they are from. We have someone from Brazil. I saw someone else say they're from Germany. Cheryl says, Guten Tag. Nice, nice. Aniki says, yeah. I actually featured that phrase. That's a terrible phrase. Never use that ever. But I actually featured that phrase in an upcoming video you'll see. So pay attention. You'll find it, Aniki. Yeah, do not learn that phrase. Completely useless. I asked it to some Koreans during my recent trip, and they had no clue what I was saying. But it was just, it's just one of those things. Don't use it. Traga, hey, welcome. As well as Joe Turner, welcome. Glad to see both of you. Someone else from Berlin and London. Nice. I was actually talking about, in Argentina, Ontario, Canada. Anyone new? Anyone who's their first live class today? I was actually talking with my wife about that the other day. Someday, it would be really nice to visit not England. Well, England too, yeah, but not specifically England. Europe, including England, Germany, France, Italy. Yeah, all that stuff. Someday. If plane ticket prices ever go a bit back down and there's, we can find reasonable places to stay, and then we make a plan for things that we want to eat there. It's probably what we would do, is just go to eat. And yeah, someday it would be nice. Maybe when I retire, it'd be nice to take a trip down there and finally get to Europe. I've never been. My wife's been before with her family, but I've never gone there before. Flo Purdy, 안녕하세요 from Florida. Cheryl says, 저는 독일에서 샀어요. You mean 살았어요. I lived in 독일. Unless you're saying you bought something in 독일, in which case your sentence is correct. 하지만 미국 사람이에요. But I am an American. And then small typo for 이에요. It should be with the middle stick. The horizontal middle stick should be out. But yes. Learn with K-pop says, I just created this account to teach people Korean words through K-pop, and I'm using your channel to help me study. Nice. Gabriella says you should come visit Scotland. I would love to do a trip to Europe where I get to visit like a lot of other small places. I would love to see Denmark. I would love to go to Hungary. I don't even know where some of these places are in relation to each other. Yeah, Scotland would be awesome. Seriously, who doesn't want to go to those places? Like, I want to get yelled at by someone with a thick Scottish accent. Is that possible? Can I do that? Can I fulfill my fantasy if I go to Scotland? Like, is there a service I can hire someone with a really thick Scottish accent who would just like yell at me and swear and tell me I'm like the worst person ever, but then like, you know, give me a pat on the back and welcome me. Like, I want that. Can this be a reality? Here in Pyeongtaek, nice. Kapdori says, go to Golfo Paris. What's that? Tracy says, 한국에 가고 싶어요. I was just in Korea until last week, actually. Have I been back? I've been back over a week now. Hold on. Check my calendar. When did I come back home? Yeah, I've been home now about 10 days, exactly 10 days. I had jet lag so bad all the way until this recent week, until I'd say Thursday. Every day I was just tired the whole day. I woke up on time. I made sure to set my alarm and wake up, because if you don't do that, your jet lag's just going to go on like 3 weeks. But I was still really tired, and like, you know, my brain didn't want to do anything, but I'm like forcing myself to do video editing because I have to edit a bunch of videos so that I can start work on my next projects really quick. I was out of it this past week, but I'm better now. Simon says, as one of your Danish fans, that would be so cool. Speaking of Danish, did you actually create the Danish, like those pastries? Those are so good. I actually got one from my mom this morning. I visited her house and she gave me half of a big Danish. So I'm going to eat that later. It might be possible if you drive badly on purpose. Well, I'm a very good driver. I at least cross my fingers, knock on wood, don't want to jinx myself, but I personally consider myself a very good driver. So that might be kind of hard to drive bad. I'm one of the people who's like hands at 10 and 2, or I guess 9 and 3, and, you know, really checking. It's like stressful for me to drive. That's the kind of driver I am. I have my best friend in the US. He loves driving. If I just say, hey, I'll pay for your gas if you drive me to New York, I'm not joking. If I said I will pay for your gas and, you know, a room to drive me to New York, he would say, when? He loves driving. I do not love driving. I like driving. It's okay, but it's stressful for me because I'm always like so focused. I cannot relax while I'm driving. Flo says, 우리 딸이 서울에 살아요. Okay. Small typo. Your sentence, though, when read is perfect. For spelling, for 살다, it's S-A-L, romanization. You want those at the bottom of the first syllable, and then 아요 for the second and third syllables. Rita says, I'm from Hungary. Welcome back. Nice. Yeah, Hungary. I would love to visit. Love to visit that area someday. I want to go to Dracula's castle. My sister went to Dracula's castle. She's an adult. She's like, I think 6 years older than me, even. I'm not exactly sure. I'm afraid to ask. How old are you again? Let's just check the time, make sure we're okay. Yeah, we're okay on time. If you're new to this stream, we always start at the top of the hour. I start the stream a little early just to chit chat with all of you, but if you're waiting for the lesson, you've got another 10 minutes to wait. Yeah, my sister went to Hungary. She had a blast. I would love to go there. I saw her pictures. I just want to see Dracula's castle. You know, I want to go into Dracula's castle. I want to see if he's real. I'll let you know. Everyone else, I can't trust what anyone else says. They go there and they're like, no, there's no Dracula. It's fake. Of course, it's a folktale. That's a myth. Never existed. They did it for making movies. You know, that's what everyone says, including, you know, people who live there. But I'm going to reveal the truth. I'm going to find out if Dracula exists, and I'll let all of you know. But I have to go there first. Someday. Aniki says, do you have any favorite 사투리 expressions? Favorite? Okay, yes. Oh, first of all, if you're wondering what you need to know for the lesson today, you should know how to conjugate adjectives. So conjugating action and descriptive verbs into adjectives, I should have written that as well. If you can make adjectives like, you know, the cold weather, the tall person, those types of adjectives, you're going to be fine for conjugating this lesson. But it's an intermediate lesson. You want to at least know this. I'm going to erase this. Yes, I do have a favorite It's not a phrase. I mean, there are some funny dialect phrases like 아까 멘치로 공가가 낀가라. Like there's really weird ones that don't sound anything like Korean unless you live there and they sound normal. And this is just like a joke phrase anyway, I just said. I do have a word I liked. Not 강구, but just 강구. This is it actually has a regular meaning in Korean, but this is a dialect word in Busan. Only old people in Busan will even know this. It's such a dialect word, and it's a word for cockroach. You can call them 강구. But if you use this today to someone from Busan, if they're not really from Busan, they're not going to know this word. If there's someone who just lived in Busan as a kid and then they moved to another place, they're from Busan, they're not going to know this. If there's someone who's young, they're not going to know this. They have to be like a real Busan native that's been there for like 30 years, then they'll know this word, but it means cockroach. And the reason is because Busan has a lot of cockroaches. I mean, I remember the place I was staying at for a while there. It had cockroaches everywhere, and other people I knew, they had them. They're just a thing. Like they're not like the ones in the US, if you're wondering. This is way more information than you wanted for a Korean live stream. But US has what's known as German cockroaches. The Germans have invaded our American soil. The German cockroaches are the really small ones, the nasty ones. They eat all your food. You know, they're really pain to get rid of. I had them before I started actually maybe at the place I was living when I first started my YouTube channel. A long time ago, we had to deal with them. I dealt with them. I won. I came out victorious. The cockroaches 0, Billy 1. But in Korea, they don't have those, fortunately. They have, actually, they're worse. They're the giant ones that fly. You'll see, but it's not, if you actually had them like that in your house, you'd get taken care of. You wouldn't have to worry about them. But the ones you might find in Korea, if you find them, are the really big ones. Sorry. You will not interact with these if you go to an Airbnb or a hotel in Korea, so don't worry about it. This would be like more of a like a poor neighborhood, a lower income neighborhood. You might find houses that are not built very well and they still have problems with cockroaches. So anyway, they have a special word just for them in Busan. Yeah, sorry for that gross discussion. We went off on a tangent there for a bit. Aniki, Dracula's castle is actually in Romania. Well, you know what? That would have been the worst Hungary trip in the entire world then. Go all the way to Hungary. I'm like, where's Dracula's castle? And they all turn around. They're like, Did this idiot just say Hungary? What is he talking about? What is he doing? He's looking for Dracula's castle. It's the wrong country. This idiot. Should I tell him? No, let him look. Yeah, see, this tells you how much geography I know. I would have gone to Hungary looking for Dracula's castle. Okay, Romania is where my sister went. Why did I get it mixed up? What does Hungary have then? Why do I want to go to Hungary then? Romania has Dracula's castle. Hungary, what do you have? Do you have Dracula's castle? No. Do you have something else cool? Let's see. What does Hungary have? Because I clearly messed those up. But there's something that's in Hungary, or else I wouldn't have known about Hungary. Budapest. Okay, well, I knew that. But like, what does Budapest have? What does Hungary have? They have a beautiful language. They have good food. Great place. Okay, but specifically, what would I do or eat or visit or see if I went to Hungary? Because I still want to go. I mean, they don't have Dracula's castle, which is kind of sad. Lexica, welcome. 필리 선생님 보고 싶었어요. You missed me. Oh, thank you. I missed you too. I missed all of my members. I'm still hoping that Glass Artist shows up. Ever been to the Netherlands? I've never stepped foot in Europe before, so no. Caves. Oh, that could be cool. I'm too much of a wimp to go into caves, but like big caves, like tourist caves, I'm fine with. For other caves, I'll watch YouTube videos sometimes of people who do like spelunking and will go like really deep into random caves. They'll push back a rock on the side of like a freeway, and then they'll like go into this 10-mile cave system. Like, that's pretty cool. I like watching those videos sometimes. Hungary has dobos torte, a delicious layered cake. Ooh, cake. That sounds great. Aniki says the Parliament building. Parliament building. Why do I want to go to Hungary to see a Parliament building? Is it that cool that I would go to the country to see a building? Maybe. Andalusia in Spain is also a must. Oh, Spain would be nice. Yeah, I'd also like to go to Spain. Let's check the time. Okay, we still got a few more minutes. I just want to make sure I don't ramble over the time. Still got to start our lesson right at the top. Lauren Holton, hey, there's a good cave in Gibraltar. Very touristy, spacious, and they have a light show in a cave. That sounds fun. I like caves. I'm just too scared to go in real ones. You know, the ones that people are like they're climbing through their couch, like they're squished, and they're like, they just have no regard for their life, I guess. Like, they're okay if that's how they end. Like, I just can't do that. It's scary. But I'll watch them do it with a GoPro on their head. Sure, that's fine. That's fun. Because I'm in no danger. I can just watch. I'm like, ooh, what's down in the cave? More dirt and rocks? Oh, water? Oh, that's so awesome. Like, of course there's dirt. Of course they're going to find more tunnels and rocks and stuff. But yeah, it's still cool. Thomas says, Europe 사람 많네. There are many people from Europe. Yes, I do get a lot of Europeans watching my stream. Billy, you have a special accent to do for every. I'm just trying to be respectful to the original language, okay? So if I see a word from another language, I'm trying to do my best to represent that country's accent and language. No disrespect. I have no clue how they're pronounced. That's the real reason. And I guess it's better than me saying it with my Los Angeles accent, right? Do boys, torti, like, right? So I do my best to at least not go that direction. Come to the UK. Yeah, I'd like to go to the UK, but I don't want to eat your food. Okay, I'm sorry. I would still like to visit your beautiful country. Just keep the food away from me. Maybe I'll go there for like in the morning and then get lunch next door in France or somewhere else. But yeah, I would still like to go through there. At least what I've heard. I've never been there, but from what I've heard, the best food in the UK is like French. I hear. Or curry, Indian food. We have goulash soup, and what is goulash soup? That doesn't sound good. Is that good? Can you say anything in Brazilian Portuguese? No, I just know that Brazilian Portuguese. Well, actually, no, I'm thinking of the Dominican. I actually don't know anything about it. No. I always say French words with the French accent. Yeah. Bien sûr. Oui, oui. You have to. You have to do that. We have some edible. Xandria. No dabs needed. Just happy to see you come back. Can't wait for the new videos. I live for the cultural topics lately. Really excited for the comedy one. Xandria, thank you. What's been your favorite culture video? I'll see if there are any coming up that can satisfy. This time in Korea, I filmed most of the videos were Glass with Billy topics and interviews. So you'll see some interviews coming up. I actually just finished editing 3 interview videos this week while under the influence of jet lag. I was very tired, but I managed to edit all 3 of the street interviews I filmed. Goulash is amazing. Fish and chips. Yeah, fish and chips. That's really all I would eat there. I would just go like, oh, hey, Billy, you want some recommendations? They're all going to be fish and chips. Sub day roast? What's a sub day roast? That sounds sounds like I don't know, idea. What's that? Afternoon tea and scones. Yeah, that sounds, I can get that here though. They have scones in the US too. They weren't very common until several years ago. Now I see them very frequently at cafes, but in the past, I had never seen a scone in my entire life. But yeah, recently they're getting more popular. You can find them. And in Korea, they've been popular for maybe about a decade. Do you speak Spanish? No, I do not. Real Korean versus textbook Korean. Okay, so I do have a skit coming up. Yeah, I do have a skit coming up, but I don't want to spoil it yet. And of course, the Jin episode of the BTS series. Okay. Oh, Mafas says it was a Sunday roast. Okay, I was really confused what a sub-day roast is. I can't imagine that. A Sunday roast. I still don't know what a Sunday roast would be, though. Did I get another donation? Why is the board blinking? Nothing happened. What is it? Why is it still blinking? When it stopped. What was that? Nothing happened. It normally blinks when I get a donation. So I saw it blink and I'm looking at the chat seeing, okay, when's it going to come up? And nothing came up. So I think my board just sneezed. All right. And that is a perfect segue to start our live class for today. I'm going to write the form up first. This marker is kind of light. I might have to get rid of this one. Okay, but I think that's okay for writing up the form. Oh, kaptor. Oh, there was a donation. It just came in late. Kaptori. Kaptori. Hey, thank you, Kaptori. Thank you, Kaptori, for your donation. Let's see. And then also Traga. Oh, Traga. Traga. Oh, Traga. It was preparing for my donation. Yeah, I think it was. I forgot I was going to touch the heart on the donation, but I forgot this thing broke like 2 years ago. I still have to replace this. I'm just waiting for it to actually die, and then it'll be immediately replaced. Because the time it died, I collected donations here. I think I got like $150 or something at that time for the stream that I did for donations for a new tablet. And then I thought it was going to die right after that because it started breaking and everything, but it still is hanging on. So we'll see. Thank you so much, Traga. I'm just gonna write Traga because the real reason is because your whole name is impossible to read. Traga Dundee like that. But I can at least say Traga correctly. Thank you so much. And yeah, the board was definitely flashing because it knew your donation was coming. Like salivating before the donation came in. And he says, Sunday roast is comprised of roasted meat, potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, and gravy. Interesting. Okay. So the form we're going to be learning today is 줄 알다, to know something, or 줄 모르다, to not know something. The way you make it is you take a verb. This can be an action verb or a descriptive verb. So any verb you like, and then conjugate it to an adjective. Now you can change a verb into an adjective in any tense that you'd like. So for example, you can take the verb 먹다, to eat, and you can say 먹는 줄, present tense. You can say 먹은 줄, past tense. 먹을 줄, future tense. Anything like that is fine. You can make any tense, any verb, change it to an adjective, and then you add 줄 followed by the object marker, optionally, And then 알다 if you know something, or 모르다 if you do not know something. But the way you make the form is very simple, and that's all there is to it for making it. There are no exceptions for that. It's just that. Now, what is 줄? Well, I think, actually, let me give you a few more examples before we say what 줄 is. That way it'll make more sense. So again, 먹다 could be 먹는 present, 먹은 past, 먹을 future. Or if you want to take another verb, 높다 to be high, for example, you can have 높은 present, 높을 future, 높았던 past tense. Just note that the way to conjugate a verb into an adjective will be a little bit different whether you're working with a descriptive verb or an action verb. So, let me give you another example. A very common verb you're going to use is 이다, to be. So, 이다 in the present tense is in. In the future tense is 일, and in the past tense is either 이었던 or 였던, depending on whether it's after a consonant or a vowel. But this is the same as when you're conjugating adjectives normally. So nothing here is unique to this form. Again, it's different whether you're working with an action verb or a descriptive verb because the conjugation is going to be slightly different. For example, if you have an action verb that ends with 하다, well, then the present tense conjugation to make it an adjective will be 하는, right? And the past tense will be 한, and the future tense will be 할. But if you have a descriptive verb that ends with 하다, like 피곤하다, for example, 심심하다, 똑똑하다, a million descriptive verbs that end with this, the present tense is not 하는. The present tense will be 한 because it's a descriptive verb. The future tense will still be 할, just like before, but then the past tense will be 했던. So just keep that in mind, that it's going to be different whether it's a action verb or descriptive verb. Okay, so what is 줄? Well, 줄, you don't really need to know what this means in this form. Normally, I'll always tell you like, oh, this word means this, so therefore, literally, it means this. When you're using this form to say that you know something or don't know something, 줄 doesn't really have a specific meaning. You can just think of it as meaning the same thing as 것, a thing. So I know the thing that is the verb or whatever it is you're saying. Or I don't know that. So I know that or I don't know that. But 줄 literally does have a meaning that is used in the second form of this, which we're going to be learning a little bit later in this live stream. 줄 also literally means 방법. 방법 means a method or a way to do something. So how to do something, literally 줄 can have that meaning. But when it's used to say that you know or don't know something, it doesn't use its literal meaning in this. It just means 것, a thing. It doesn't really have any specific meaning. So you don't really need to think about this form literally when you're using it in this form. Okay, let me check the chat for a second. Oh, Traga, the dabs. Okay, I didn't do your dabs because I read the other person's message that said no dabs, and I thought they were applying it to all future dabs. Hold on. Traga, you get 12 dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're hard when you haven't done them in a while. I was 10, so I got 2 more. 1. Oh. Okay. Gotten that taken care of. Okay. So, what is this form used for? I'm going to erase this, how to conjugate it, and I'm going to tell you how it works. So just make sure you have this written down. This form, when it's used like this, with 알다 and 모르다, with an adjective, this form is used to say that you have an expectation of something. So what that means is, if you say this form with 줄 알다, 알다 meaning to know, what you're saying is, you know, or past tense you knew, or you will knew, or thought. So it's know or thought. So if you say this, let me say this again so it's clear. So if you say this form, 줄 알다, you're saying that you knew or you thought something. Literally, you're saying you expected something, or you expect something, or you will expect something, depending on what tense you're using the adjective. So 줄 is used to say that you have, or had, or will have, or whatever, an expectation about something. So if you use it with 알다, that means, oh yeah, I knew that, I expected that. Or present tense, I expect that, I know that. Or I think that, or I thought that. So literally, it's really about an expectation. And if you use this with 모르다, it simply means you do not expect. You did not expect something. So typically, this form is used to say that you knew or thought something in the past tense. Most of the time when you use this form, 알다 and 모르다 will be used in the past tense. So as either 알았어요, for example, or 몰랐어요, like I knew or I thought, or I didn't know or I didn't think, like that, regarding an expectation that you had. You'll see this when we give the examples, it'll make more sense, but that's what this form is used. So this form can be difficult to translate because of that. So I'll often see it translated as either to think or to know something. Now this could be past tense, thought, or knew, or if you use it with 모르다, to not think or to not know. I didn't think, or I didn't know, or I don't think, I don't know, like that. These are the most common ways to translate it into English, but to help with understanding which one of these to use, just so that you can make sense of the sentence, to help with understanding, I recommend translating this form, 줄 알다, as to expect, and 줄 모르다 as to not expect. Because if you translate it this way in your head, you're always going to understand these sentences. However, if you try to translate this as think or know, it's going to be very confusing to you, because sometimes you won't know, oh, did they say I knew it would happen, or I thought it would happen? I'm not sure which I should use. Because in English, we use think and know completely differently to how they use it in Korea. There are many forms to use to say you think something, right? We learned about 2 of them in a previous live stream a few months ago. But this one is more about your expectations. Like, yeah, not just I thought so, but yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Yeah, oh, I knew that. You're saying you already expected something. Or, oh, I didn't think that. Not that, oh, I did not think so. My opinion was not that way. You're not expressing your opinion when you use this form at all. You're simply expressing your expectations. So expectations is the key word about this form that will help you to translate it. So let's do an example sentence, and then I want you to do several example sentences. So here's my first example sentence. To help you understand this, I'm not going to actually help you understand this. I want you to read this on your own for a second, and then we'll talk about it. Actually, I'll read it out to you, but I want you to think about it before I tell you what it means. 비가 올 줄 알았어요. So, just for a little bit of context, 비 is rain, 오다 is to come, so 비가 오다 means to rain. That's all I'm going to tell you. 비가 올 줄 알았어요. You could have had 몰랐어요, but we're going to start with this. 비가 올 줄 알았어요. Okay, I'm going to leave this up here for a minute. I want you to think about it on your own before I understand it. Before I explain it to you, is what I meant to say. Okay, I'm going to check the chat for a second. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask them right now while I'm checking the chat. Dabbing is your exercise, I see. Yeah, Anyan, I don't get a lot of exercise, as you can tell by my supreme biceps, but dabbing is my main, my body's main exercise. And I told that to my doctor. He said I was crazy, but yeah, that's just how it worked out. Mika says, similar to saw it coming and didn't see it coming. Yes, when you use this in the past tense, I didn't see it coming or I saw it coming. Yeah, and that's how it most often gets used, is in the past tense with past tense conjugation for the final verb 알다 or 모르다, though it doesn't have to be. Annie says, how is this different from using 기대하다? Because that's when you're actually saying you wished, you hoped that it would happen. That's a different kind of expectation. That's not expecting like you think, that's expecting like you wish. And in English, it's hard to translate this because in English we use expect to mean both. That's what I thought it would happen, I expected it, but also, oh, I was expecting that. It's too bad. Like I wanted it to happen, I was expecting it. This is not that. This is expectation as far as something that you think. In English, that expectation would be something that you want, that you expect to get, which is different. So this is not about something that you wanted. That's why I wouldn't translate this as expect on its own. Just know that when you translate it from Korean to English, expect is a really good way to help you understand what it means. But when you go back to Korean, don't translate it that way. Yeah, I knew it would rain. Yeah, Traga. I thought it would rain. Okay. Oh, Jake's asking a good question. Don't worry, Jake. I'll have a comparison about a couple of those forms later. Zandria says, since moms love to do the I told you so dance, would you expect this to be used by parents mostly? No, everyone can use this form. So this sentence is 비가 올 줄 알았어요. So 비가 오다, rain comes, so to rain. So I knew, 알았어요. 알다 meaning to know. So I knew that, you can just think of this as that, doesn't have a really specific meaning. It will 오다, future tense, 올. So I knew it would rain. Now the context of this is not, I knew that it will rain because I got the weather report from the future by stealing the DeLorean. Like it's not any sort of prediction. This is simply your expectation was, yeah, I thought it would rain. I thought it would rain. I knew it would rain. Either of these, it can translate as either I thought it would rain or I knew it would rain. And it just depends on the context. Let's say it rains. You're walking outside. 비가 올 줄 알았어요. And it's raining. How would you translate that in English? Would you say, I thought it would rain? No, you'd say, oh, I knew it would rain. However, you walk outside and it's not raining, but you say, 비가 올 줄 알았어요. I thought it would rain. In Korean, it's the exact same sentence. So that's why this is better to translate until you get the hang of it as expect. So you walk outside and it's raining. Oh, I expected it to rain. You walk outside and it's not raining. Oh, I expected it to rain. The exact same sentence. You get the same meaning in English at least. But in Korean, this will translate either as thought or knew, depending on the context. You can only know that based on the result. In English, we need the result. So in this sense, the Korean form is easier than English. In English, you have to know the result to make the translation. So if someone says, translate this into English for me, you can't. You need context. If you throw this into Papago and translate it to English, it's probably going to say, oh, I thought it would rain. But if it is raining, that doesn't make any sense in English, right? So this is a situation where Korean actually is more straightforward than English. 비가 올 줄 알았어요. So I thought it would rain if it's not raining, or I knew it would rain. Haha, I knew it would rain if it is raining. Same sentence, but now we have 몰랐어요. I didn't. So now it's I didn't know, or I didn't think. I'm going to leave this up here for just 30 seconds so you can look at it and think about it on your own. If you have any questions, now's a good time. Kaptori said, rain. I knew it. Yeah. Dragoon says you thought it would, but it didn't end up happening. It could be, or it did. You thought it would, and it did. Both would work with that sentence. Xandria says, maybe I'm projecting, but I took that sentence as I knew it would rain and you didn't listen to me at that. It would fit in that situation. I knew it would rain. 아, 비가 올 줄 알았어요. I knew it would rain. Or, 비가 올 줄 알았다니까? I told you I knew it would rain. 내 말 왜 안 들어? 내 말 왜 안 들었어? Why didn't you listen to me? 내가 우산 가지고 나가라고 했는데? I told you to take an umbrella when you go. 왜 안 들었어? 내 말이 맞다니까. I told you I'm right. You know, you can rub it in with this exact form. It doesn't have to have that feeling though, but it can. Because this form just means, I expected that. Haha. Like that. It's just the tone of telling someone that you knew or thought something. Nightshade, you can use 알고 있었어요. But then you wouldn't use this form. If you literally knew it would rain, you can convey, oh, I already knew that it will rain. 비가 올 거라는 걸 알고 있었어요. 비가 올 거라는 거 알고 있었어요. Yeah, I knew that it will rain. But that's like, did you really know that it would rain? Like, you might use it for something else, so not raining, but maybe, I knew that this would happen. 100%. You're not saying like, I thought it would happen. I'm right. You're saying, no, I actually, like, we're playing a video game and I programmed this video game. I knew that if you touch this item, it's going to explode. I already knew that's going to happen. I told you. You could use this form, but you could just literally say, I knew that that was going to happen. But then you get a slightly different form, which sounds more literal, like more formal, I guess is a simple way to put it. This is more of a regular conversational expression. Yeah, haha, I knew that would happen. Or I thought it would. That sort of feeling. Okay, I just wanted to leave this up for a second so you can have a little bit of time on your own to think about it. 비가 올 줄 몰랐어요. So I didn't know that it would rain. So you walk outside and it's raining. 아, 비가 올 줄 몰랐어요. Oh, I didn't know it would rain. Or I didn't think it would rain, right? Or you walk outside and it's not raining. 비가 올 줄 몰랐어요. I didn't know it would rain. Like it didn't. I didn't think it would rain. Well, it didn't. That doesn't make sense. You don't need to use it if it's not raining. So the context will dictate how you translate it. Okay, into English anyway. But I did not expect it to rain. That's the literal meaning that you get. Oh, I did not expect it to rain. Okay. So I didn't expect it to rain and it didn't. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't think it would rain. And it's not raining. So, okay, I'm right. All right, great. But there are some situations you probably wouldn't even need to really say that. You walk outside and you're like, you probably would say something like, 비가 안 올 줄 알았어요. Like, I knew it wouldn't rain. You don't need to say, I did not think that it will rain. Like, it just sounds awkward, right? You don't need to express, I did not think something that did not happen anyway. You would say, I thought something will not happen. And we do that in English too. And this is just more about semantics, how you express yourself. But yeah, you probably wouldn't say this if it's not raining, though you could. Instead, you'd probably say 비가 안 올 줄, 안 오다, to not rain. So I knew it wouldn't rain. 알았어요. You'd still use it with 알았어요 if you wanted to kind of hammer that home. Like, haha, I told you so. I knew it wouldn't rain. Like that. Okay. That was the easiest sentence I could possibly think of. And of course, I'm 10 minutes behind schedule, but here we go. Okay. I want you to make a sentence. I thought Charsu is going. I thought Charsu is going. Now, you can use 가다 to go, and you just want to use the present tense. You don't need to use like progressive tense or anything. You can, but present tense is fine. So I thought Charsu is going. So you meet your friend. Oh, I see a donation here, but I don't see the donation yet, but I do see the flashing lights for it. So I'll wait for that to pop up. Maybe it's delayed again. So the context you want is, I thought Charsu is going. So you're talking with your friend and they're like, oh yeah, and my friend Youngie's coming and Billy's coming and everyone else is coming. And you're like, oh, I thought Charsu's going. Charsu's not going? I thought Charsu's going too. So that's the context you have here. I want you to make that sentence. Traga, are you the first? Traga, yes. But where would you put the chur? I'm going to wait for you to finish that. Yes, perfect, Zandria. And Traga, let me know where you're putting the chur. Although I think you know where you're putting the chur. Aniki, perfect. Yes, Traga, perfect. Let's see, everyone else. Oh, Charsugak. Oh, so Lexica, you can use that with the future tense. And now your context is a little bit different since you use the future tense. So it's not I thought Charsu is going present, but now it's I thought Charsu will or would go. Yeah, I thought Charsu would go. I thought Charsu will go. Also a perfect sentence. Joel. Okay, I saw the lights early and then I was waiting for the donation to come in. Joel Wellham says, let's go. So proud of your efforts for the language community. Thank you so much, Joel. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. $6.99 and Canadian. I'll round it up to 7. It's good enough. Your Canadian money is good here in California. Let me give you 7 dabs. I can feel stronger already. Oh wait, I have to do that when you can't see. Oh, it's blinking again. I don't know where that's. It's annoying that it's off sync right now. I don't know when the donation's gonna come in, but whoever just donated, thank you, and it'll show you the donation notice in just a second. Jesse Smith, no, stop dabbing. You're not my mom. You're not my mom, Jesse. Okay, let's see. Let's read everyone else's attempts at the sentence. Nice booksketball. That just reminded me of what was that? Totally unrelated. I just had a flash of the what was that? I can't remember the movie. I wanted to make a funny reference and I can't remember the movie, so never mind. If I think about it, I'll randomly make another joke in a second. 철수가 갈 줄 알았어요. Okay, I thought Charsu will go. Yeah, you can make the sentence as well. Just note that it's going to be future tense. 철수 갈 줄 알았어요. 간 줄 알았어요. Okay, Estelle, now you have I thought Charsu went. But, hold on, don't get ahead of us. Lexica says, so even though English might say it as I thought he was coming, that wouldn't mean using past tense in Korean, correct? He was coming. Yes, we use tense for supposition, supposing something. We use past tense a lot. Like I thought that would be, I thought it was, like that. We do that to soften our assertions. So the things that we assume, we soften our assumptions by making them in the past tense in English because it sounds more polite, right? Oh, I thought that was, oh, wasn't it like this? Or are you sure it wasn't like that, right? Not, are you sure it isn't? Because you can say, oh, I thought it's, isn't it this? Isn't it that? Like you're wrong. It kind of feels like that when you say it like that. But if you put it in the past tense in English, it softens your assumption, especially when you're claiming it to someone else. Like your friend says, hey, did you hear about the new movie? It came out, it's coming out next week. And you know that the movie's actually coming out next month. So you would say, oh, I thought it's next month, but that sounds a little bit forward, right? So we'd say, oh, I thought that was next month. So we put it in the past tense. Korean, no, you don't do that. Korean has different uses for tenses, but not for softening the blow when you're making an assumption, when you're saying something, or when you're contradicting someone. So that's an English thing. Let's see here. No, there's that movie where it's like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge the ball. Is that dodgeball? Was that dodgeball? I was trying to think of the name of the movie. I knew the quote, but I couldn't think of the name of the movie. I think that was Dodgeball. That was like the dumbest movie I had ever seen in the movie theater in my entire life up until that point. I'm not exaggerating. That was by far the dumbest movie I've ever seen. I was still laughing, of course, but that's besides the point. That's the one thing though I remember from that movie. That my one takeaway. I think that was Stephen Root. Character. Anyway, yeah. That was Mystery Men has some similar. Mystery Men was amazing though. That was amazing. I loved that movie in theaters. That was an awesome movie. I'm the spleen. What was it? You must learn to master your anger, or your anger is going to become your master. You're going to say that. Not necessarily. Yeah, Mystery Men is a great movie. If you want to see like a parody of superhero movies, Mystery Men was just one of those really 90 movies, and it had Smash Mouth All-Star was also in the movie, along with like every movie around that time used Smash Mouth All-Star in the movie. I swear, like Shrek did it most famously, but it wasn't Shrek that started that. It was other movies that started doing it, and Mystery Men was one of them. But I remember actually liking the song in Mystery Men because it matched the movie. It was like exactly about the movie, like the tone matched. It was just like a weird song, and it matched the movie. Whereas in Shrek, it just made no sense. They just put it in there. It's more like a meme. So yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. Okay, sorry, I need to go back to the lesson. Okay. Just wasted 5 minutes talking about Shrek and Mystery Man. Okay. Let's write this a little neater. 철수가 가는 줄 알았어요. 철수, our friend 철수, 가다, to go. Present tense, 가는. Since this is an action verb, present tense, 가는 줄. So I thought, or I knew, that 철수 is present, going. Going where? I don't know. 철수가 가는 줄 알았어요. So your friend says, oh, 철수 is not going to the party. And you can say, oh, 철수가 가는 줄 알았어요. I thought Charsu's going, but he's not. I thought. But your friend says, hey, I'm going to the party, and Charsu, of course, Charsu도 간대요. Of course, Charsu says he's going too. And you say, 철수도, or 철수가 가는 줄 알았어요. I knew he would come, and I was right. So the context is going to dictate how you translate it, whether it's going to be know or think. So it's going to be, I thought it would, like it didn't, but I thought, or I knew it would, and it did. So just keep that in mind. Or again, expect. So yeah, I expected that Charsu would go, and that matches both of those situations, whether he does or doesn't go. But you could also do this. 철수가 간 줄 알았어요. 가다 in the past tense, 간. So I thought, or I knew, that he went. 철수가 간 줄 알았어요. I thought 철수 went, so you're telling me that 철수 didn't go? 철수가 간 줄 알았어요. I thought that he went. Or he did go. Yeah, I knew he would go. I knew he went. Like that. Okay, next sentence. I want you to make this one. I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. Now, to say that you do not like something, you want to use the verb 안 좋아하다. I mean, there are other ways you can say this, but I'll just give you one to save some time, save everyone some time. 좋아하다 is to like, 안 좋아하다 is to not like. So I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. Now you don't need to say you. Again, you never really need to say, almost never need to say you in Korean. So I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. So the context of this could be, you invite your 99-year-old grandfather to Korea, and all he's doing is telling you about his Korean War stories. Oh, there's a Korean War? We had the Korean War. And you sit down and he eats, okay, this story is already breaking apart, but he never had kimchi in Korea, never, because the military didn't give him any kimchi. I don't know, whatever reason, he didn't get kimchi. So he's trying kimchi for his first time coming to Korea. His name is Jack, okay? Jack, you're like, Jack, I thought you wouldn't like kimchi, but you're eating it. You ate all of it. We have to ask for more. Wow. I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. Or it could be the same exact sentence. Yeah, I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. Yeah, I knew you wouldn't like kimchi. Like he says, oh, I don't like this kimchi. It's too healthy. Like, yeah, I thought you wouldn't like kimchi. It's both the same sentence. I expected that you would not like kimchi, and I'm surprised, or my expectation is validated. Wait, Jesse said, don't forget the 5 Ds. Jesse, don't forget D-Wars. Never forget D-War. The movie that should never, ever have made it into the American movie theater. Okay, you need a DeLorean bouncing from one language to the other. Sure. Okay, let's check these sentences. Aniki is first. 김치 싫어할 줄 알았어요. Perfect. 김치를 안 좋아할 줄 알았어요. Perfect, Traga. Lexica as well. 안 좋아할 줄 알았어요. Perfect. And, Xandria, typo. Typo, Xandria. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, D-War is a movie that came out in Korea in 2007, the very end of 2007. And it was made on a... I shouldn't have to say this, but since you don't know, it was made on a budget. It's clear that it's made on a budget. They somehow on a budget, they managed to put special effects all over the movie. It's filled with special effects. You don't know where the money really went though. But yeah, it was, and then on top of that, which is normal, getting a terrible made-for-TV movie, those happen thousands of times a month. They're all, just go to Amazon Prime and scroll through their selection. You'll see it's like 99% these random movies and like rip-off titles that are just trying to get your money. But this was a movie that somehow came into the theaters. Like I went to the major theater in my city, like the biggest, fanciest theater chain had a poster for this. I don't know how that movie... Yeah, don't watch it unless you really like bad movies, or maybe you want to be like you want to join MST3K in your training or something like that, riff tracks sort of thing. It was that bad. Okay. Budget of 32 million MB. What is that, like Maple Story bucks or something? They can't have had a budget that high. Okay. Xandria says, of course I got a typo. Yeah, but I knew you had the answer in your heart. I'll accept it. Arirang was played over the final. Yeah. Xandria, MST. Yeah, I don't mean to be like a hipster, but my parents were fans of MST3K back in the 90s. The 90s. So this was before they even went. No, this was immediately when they started getting broadcast on Comedy Central from season 1. Not from before. I think they were like KT. There's some other like local station that no one saw. But as soon as they went on Comedy Central from season 1, my parents are fans. So they have every tape on VHS still. They still have them all. They went to like the MST3K convention. So I also was brought up on that same stuff. So yeah, not all of them. I've seen all of the good ones, I guess I should say all the bad ones, at least more than once. There's some good stuff in there. Yeah, D-War should be added to their collection. I think someone should let them know about that movie. Except that it's in Korean, so... Oh, wait, no, it's... Kind of... I actually don't remember. Okay, yeah, well, we can talk about that another time. Okay, so the sentence. And I want you to notice something. Do you see the object marker used after 줄? No, you rarely will. Although you could say 줄을 알았어요. Like it's hard to say it unless I go into full Korean mode. 김치를 안 좋아할 줄을 알았어요. It's almost never said. You might write it. You might see it in writing, but you won't hear it because it sounds so much like the object marker it would come after. 줄을. It's harder to say. Now, it's not difficult to say. Koreans can say it just fine. But it's more work for your tongue. So usually you won't see it. 김치를 안 좋아할 줄 알았어요. So I thought, or I knew that you would, future tense, will, you can say will, but it's would, not like 안 좋아하다, kimchi. So I thought that you wouldn't like kimchi, but you do. Or I knew you wouldn't like kimchi because you don't. I expected it. I expected that you would not like kimchi, and I was right or I was wrong. And based on that, you would translate it as I thought or I knew. Okay, next sentence. We're only like we're not even halfway done with this lesson for today, just letting you know. There's still more to do with this true form. But I do have 2 more sentences before we move on to the last usage of it. I thought 철수 is an American. Your sentence is going to start with 철수 again. I thought that 철수 is an American. So you're going to use the verb 이다, to be. Is, present tense. Give it a try. A 40-minute 사극 drama. I must have forgot about that. Oh no. Yeah, it was bad. R, how has Alex been? Does he study a lot? Last time I asked him about his Korean was, I think, the beginning of this year, and he said he wanted to go through the beginner course I have again. But I'm not sure how far he got. At that point, I think he was back up to like lesson 19 or something. So I'll have to see if he's still doing it. Joel asked a question, but I missed it. What does 줄? Okay, yeah. Well, literally 줄 means 방법, as I explained in the beginning, but it's not used like that in this form. 방법 meaning a way or a method, like how to do something. But in this form, it's simply used like 것, like a thing, or that, we would say, because 것 is used in other forms to mean that. Like I knew that, or I didn't know that. So you can think of 줄 as meaning that in this sort of context. No meaning, basically. Okay, let's see who was first. Dragoon was first, but Trag is the first member, so I'll read Tragus first, and then we'll go up to Dragoon. 철수가 미국인인 줄 알았어요. Perfect. Okay, Dragoon also. Perfect. Hey, Felix. Yes. Nikki. Oh, so Nikki, you want to use 이다, not 있다. 있다 would be to exist, like you would say he has something or something exists, like something is there. Not is as in to be is, but just exists. Like there is a restaurant over there. You're saying there exists a restaurant over there. 있다. But you'd want to use 이다 instead. Let's see, Nightshade. Nice. Rora is easy. Nice. Yes, Estelle. Jiaovu you would not use 이라는 with this. You would use 것 if you wanted to use 이라는 form. Trevon, yes, Trevon, you are correct. Even though you use the future tense, it still works because that's not, I thought he is an American, but I thought that he would be, future tense. I thought he would be. 미국 사람, 미국인일 줄 알았어요 is also okay. Like I thought he would be an American. I assumed he would be, but he's not. But most often I think you'd use present tense for this. 미국 사람인 줄 알았어요. Perfect lexica. Oh, 아네키. 철수가 미국인인 줄 알았어요. Perfect. Sorry, missed yours. Onion as well. Yes. Jiaovu, yes. Anna, come to Australia. Oh, I just watched an Australian movie. This a few days ago. My wife had gotten some free credit from Amazon Prime for a video, so we rented the new movie, the horror movie Talk to Me, not to be confused with Talk to Me in Korean. This is a horror movie, not a Korean learning service. And it was really good. I mean, I don't know, maybe you don't like, if you don't like horror movies, you're not going to like it. But if you like horror movies, it was fun. It was Australians, maybe the first Australian movie that I've seen. They did another movie, but I can't remember if I saw it or not. But anyway, yeah, I really liked it. So the only thing that told me it was not an American movie is because everyone's speaking with an accent. And it did have that one lady, I think it was Owen, the lady from Lord of the Rings who's like, I am no man, who like kills the the guy on the horse in the third movie, I think it was, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it was good. Okay. Fox Court said, why is it in? Because 미국인 is American person. in is from 한자, meaning a person. And then in, the second one, is from 이다, to be, in the present tense. Okay, so I'm going to give you the sentence. 철수가, you could just say 미국인, but I'm just going to use it as 미국 사람. And then in. Now, most of the time, you're going to use 알았어요 with this form to mean you thought something when you're wrong. Like, yeah, I thought he was, or I thought that was. But it could also be used to mean I knew. Yeah, I knew he would be an American. Of course, because he's 철수. But it's also 철수가 미국 사람인 줄 알았어요 is I thought, or I knew, that 철수 is 이다, in, present tense, is 미국 사람, American person. So I thought that 철수 is an American. Oh, I thought that he's American. He's Korean? Oh, 미국 사람인 줄 알았어요. I thought he was an American. If you go to Korea and you say literally just 안녕하세요, any way you can say it, just say it. You're gonna hear, if you're in Korea long enough, someone's gonna tell you this. Oh, 한국 사람인 줄 알았어요. Oh, I thought you were Korean. Your pronunciation, your Korean was so amazing. 한국인인 줄 알았어요. I thought you were Korean. You're not Korean? Oh, like you're going to hear it. But now it's time for revenge. You tell 철수, oh, 미국 사람인 줄 알았어요. Whoa, maybe you could tell someone that when they use English to you. If someone introduces yourself and like, hey, nice to meet you. Like, oh, 미국 사람인 줄 알았어요. Oh, I thought you were American, like that. Actually, they probably like that. Whereas if you hear it in Korea a bunch of times, it kind of gets a little annoying. But I think Korean actually might like that if you told it to them. So yeah, I take it back. Don't do that. They'll like it too much. It doesn't work as revenge. Okay. Yeah, Mika, 미국인, 미국 사람, both are okay. What's the most polite way to be like, don't patronize me? In Korean, it wouldn't be polite to tell them, don't compliment me. You can make jokes, though. You can say, like, they have an expression like, don't give me a plane ride. It's a little bit corny. 비행기 태우지 마세요. Like, it's a little bit corny, I think. It gets overused. But that's one way, like, stop complimenting me too much. But it's more common just to be, what's the word? Really humble about it. And that'll sound more natural. Even though you want to make a joke, it can be considered like you're bragging if you don't accept compliments like very humbly, like, oh no, 아니요, 아직 많이 부족해요. Like, I'm still learning a lot. Like, that is the best way to reply to that. Okay. One more sentence, and then we're going to move on to the next usage of this form, because this form has two major uses, and we've only covered one. Although, to be fair, this one we're covering is the biggest one, and the next one is really easy if you can already do this one. Okay. I didn't know Korean would be difficult. 어렵다 is to be difficult. Now, because it has this letter, you're going to have to do something when you conjugate this into a adjective. So just keep that in mind. I didn't know Korean would be difficult. So you're going to Korean, you're studying Korean, you speak Korean, and someone's like, wow, how is Korean? And you're like, oh yeah, Korean's, it's harder than I thought. I didn't know Korean would be this difficult. So the sentence is, I didn't know Korean would be difficult. Okay. Oh, it's sour. Trega. Try again with markers. So notice the object marker has to be used together with an action verb. But if there is no action verb doing something to the noun, in this case, 한국어, the Korean language, if there's nothing doing it to that, there cannot be an object after that. I'm sorry, you can't have the object marker after that unless there's something doing something to Korean, like speaking Korean or learning or teaching or anything like that. If you're simply describing something, you want a different marker. Most of the time, that's going to be the subject marker. Yes, Aniki. Perfect. Zandria. Remove the Eagleson. Oh, so I think you were trying to say this difficult. Zandria, that's a cute mistake. If you want to say this with a descriptive verb, it's not part of the lesson today. 이렇게, literally in this way. 이렇게 어렵다, like to be this hard. Or 그렇게, like that difficult. So this is a way that you would say so, like, oh, it's so difficult. Or it was so tasty. 그렇게 맛있었어요. It was that good, literally. Like, yeah, it was that, what you're thinking, the amount. That, so good. Or this, 이렇게, this hard. Something that I'm expressing. 이렇게 or 그렇게. So I didn't think Korean would be this hard, or I didn't think Korean would be that hard. Either one, just depending what you want to say. If you're talking about your own experiences, then you would use this, just like you would in English with this or that. I didn't think Korean would be this hard, is like now you're sharing something. Or I didn't think Korean would be that hard, is when someone else is sharing something and you're talking about that. But 이것 and 그것 would be the literal nouns, this thing and that thing, but not used with a descriptive verb or with an action verb. My tablet just turned off. Actually, I think this is because I didn't charge it. I don't think it died. I mean, I don't think the tablet died. It just ran out of battery. That's my fault because I only charged it for like 30 minutes and I was gone in Korea for like a month. So I think it probably needed an extra hour to charge. So I'll just look at your comments like this. 한국어가 어려울 줄 몰랐어요. Perfect. Okay. Lexica as well. You want to make sure you have the right marker. So try again, Lexica, with that sentence. Yeah, no, my tablet, I just plugged it in and turned it back on. It's turning back on. It was just out of battery. But we'll see. Next week, if it dies after having been charged properly, if it dies during the stream, then it's dead. I'm getting rid of it because it needs to last at least for the stream. So that's like 2 hours or so. Okay, I'm reading everyone else's comments. My eyes are squinting to see because it's tiny now. Archer, what else? Spence, nice. Stephanie, nice. Estelle, nice. Jiaovu, your sentence is correct, though you're missing a marker after 한국어, but in speech, your sentence is still perfect. Rora is easy as well. You also want to make sure you have the right marker. So Rora is, you don't want to use the object marker unless there's something affecting that. In this case, there isn't anything affecting 한국어 or 한국말, as you wrote. So you would need to use a different marker. I would recommend the subject marker. Okay. I'm going to give you the answer here, although many of you already got it. Now, all of these examples I've given you are just 알았어요, 몰랐어요. They're all just Yule form. You don't have to use it like that. So I've just done that to keep it simple, since this is an introduction course into a, it's a pretty big topic. You'll see this form everywhere. But you will see 몰랐네, 알았어, 몰랐는데. Like you'll see this form used a lot of different ways. You'll also see it used as 몰라요 or 알아요. Or ara as like a command. Like you'll hear this used a lot of different ways. I've just only used it like this because that's the most common way you'll see it. But it'll be used as a command. It can be used as present tense, past tense. You'll see it used a lot of ways. But if you understand how it works, it doesn't matter how you see it used in future sentences. I just want to make sure you get the basics down for this. Okay. 한국어가 어려울 줄 몰랐어요. So 어렵다, to be difficult. 어려울, future tense, would be difficult. So I didn't know Korean would be difficult. You could have also said 이렇게 어려울 줄 몰랐어요. I didn't know it would be this difficult. You can change the sentence a lot of ways. So I didn't know Korean would be difficult. Or you could say this as 어려울 줄 몰랐어요. I didn't know that it would be difficult, or I didn't think it would be difficult. Either way, I didn't expect it to be difficult. Okay. So that is all you need to know about using this form to mean that you knew or you didn't know something. But there's another way that this form commonly gets used. And I'm just going to write the form up. Actually, this is all you need to know. This exact form that you just learned has a second meaning. Remember that I said 줄 can literally mean 방법, like a way or a method, like how to do something? Well, it can also be used like that if you use a future tense adjective made from an action verb. Then it can mean to know or to not know how to do something. Again, this has to be a future tense adjective, so that will always end with this. Or a lir, depending on the verb stem. And it has to be made with an action verb, so it's not going to be 어렵다, to be difficult. It would have to be 하다, to do, or 먹다, to eat, or something like that. So what this form then literally means is I know, 알다, or I do not know, 모르다, how to, 줄, literally now 줄, do something. Again, action, do something. And you might be wondering, well, how do I know if it's I don't know how to do something or I don't know that? Because it could overlap, right? 철수가 갈 줄 몰랐어요. I didn't know that 철수 would go. Are you ever going to think that means 철수 didn't know how to go? No, it's not. The context will always make it clear. You're never going to be confused about this, because there is one more thing that this form is only used for. Not only does this have to be an action verb changed into the future tense adjective form, but it also can be, no, it's not, it can be, but it also has to be an action verb that's a skill. So it's not going to be how to go somewhere. It's going to be how to swim, how to teach, how to use, how to do something, like an actual skill. Not simply how to do anything, like Anyway, I'm going to leave this up here for a second, but then there's still a little bit more I have to talk about. I was going to pick up the comments and read them. I can't. Now I have to look at the computer. Okay. I've been using 이것은 wrong for a long time now. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, 이것 would just be literally this 것 thing. So, 매운 거 먹을 줄 몰라. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm trying to teach this in the most basic way possible. And then Jesse jumps in with here's a common way that it's used. Yeah, you can use this for I'm not sure if actually that I put that in my notes here. I had that in my notes and I probably deleted it. Yeah. You'll also see this with a different meaning for food. If you anyone ask me after the lesson, I can tell you there's another usage for this when you're talking about 먹다 or 드시다 for eating something has a slightly different use. But yeah. Okay, so should I give an example first or should I talk about how it's different? I think I'm going to give you an example. Okay. So here's an example. Okay. 한국어 하다, literally to do Korean. That's how you say to speak Korean. 한국어 할 줄 알아요. Again, action verb only. Future tense adjective form only. So 하다, 할. If this is 하는 줄, it is not this form. 한국어 하는 줄 알았어요. I thought you speak Korean. That's a different meaning. 한국어 할 줄, how to, 방법. Remember, the way to, the method to, how to speak Korean. So I know how to speak Korean. 한국어 할 줄 알아요. I know how to speak Korean. 한국어 할 줄 몰라요. Now, if you say this to someone, they're going to be like, why did you memorize how to say, I cannot speak Korean? Just say, no Korean, or just do this. But anyway, that's how you could say, I know how to speak Korean. Literally, I know how to do Korean. Okay. I want you to make the next two sentences I have for this form. Actually, before that, you might know another, before you ask, I always go into more information than is necessary in my live streams. So I said that it means 방법, but then what's the difference between using 줄 and 방법? Because there's also another grammar form where you can say 방법, something, something, 하는 방법, like the way to do something, 알아요 or 몰라요, like I know the way to do something. I know how to do something. The difference is, 줄, as I said, is only used for some sort of skill, like an actual skill that you know how to do or don't know how to do. 방법 is simply the way to do something. Anything, literally anything. It doesn't have to be a skill. It's literally just anything. Like the way to go to school. You're not going to say 갈 줄, like it's just like it's talking about the skill of like physically going. Like it doesn't quite make sense. Like it literally makes sense, but it wouldn't be used. 학교 가는 방법. Like the way to get to school, like the actual way to get to school, not the skill of going to school. Oh, I can go to school. It's a war zone out there, but I know the way to get there. Like, no, you wouldn't need to use that. You just, the way to get to school. I know the route to go. I can get there. 방법 is a general word that can be used for any sort of way. And 방법 is more of a formal sounding expression. If you use 방법 to say you know the 방법 of something, you're not going to use it very much. It can also be shortened to just 법. So anyway, this one you're not really going to use, but 법, 방법 or 법 is just a regular form. It's more formal sounding. And another thing I should say is 줄 is only used in this form. 줄 알다, 줄 모르다. You're not going to use 줄 with other verbs. You're not going to say 한국어 할 줄 배웠어요. I learned how to speak Korean. You would use this for 알다 and 모르다. If you wanted to say other things like I taught someone how to do this, or I didn't teach someone, or I learned how to do something, or anything else. If you want to use this for any other form, you would use this with 배우다. Sorry, not 배우다. You would use that with 방법. 방법 you can use anything with. It doesn't have any strict rules. It just means a way or a method to do something. Also, if you wanted to use present tense adjectives, you can use 방법, not 줄. So just know 줄 is very limited in its use. It's just 줄 알다, 줄 모르다. That's it. There is another form that's not for today, 줄 with 이다, but that's a shortened version of this form. If you ask me about that, I can also go into that today later for an advanced note. But that's not, that would just be with 이다, and that's really the only exception for this. Okay. Let's make sure I do everything. Okay, these are just some extra notes in case you're wondering. If you weren't wondering, you can just ignore this. Let's do another sentence. I want you to make this sentence. I don't know how to ride a bike. To ride a bike is 자전거 타다. That's all I'm going to tell you. I actually pretty much told you half of the whole sentence, but I don't know how to ride a bike. Did I say I don't know or I know? Whatever. You can say you know or you don't know, depending on whether you know or you don't know how to ride a bike. So I know or I don't know how to ride a bike. 공 찰 줄 알아요. I'm pretty good at soccer. No, that's okay. That's good. That's good. It's a good sentence. I'm not gonna get mad at you for that. That's fine. Jesse's someone who knows his Korean, in case you're wondering. Some people come in my chat and pretend to know Korean, but they don't. Jesse does. just to let you know, I've vetted him out already. Some people are legit. Jesse is legit. Okay, let's see. I'm reading really small. 자전거 탈 줄 몰라요. Yeah, sure, Aniki, perfect. But annoying to read, to use 충청도 dialect like that. But correct. 자전거 탈 줄 몰라요. Traga, do you not know how to ride a bike? Your sentence is perfect. 자전거 탈 줄 몰라요. Cody Smith, perfect. Lexica as well, perfect. Okay, let's see what else we got. My eyes hurt. 탈 줄 알아요. It's Pence. Anyan. Nice. Shadow Spoon. Oh, really? Shadow Spoon. Nice sentence. Estelle, double check your markers. That's all I'll say. Just double check your markers and you can make your sentence perfect really quick. Let's see. Trevon. Same with Trevon. Double check your markers. BTS Army. Nice sentence. Have you ever overheard people talk bad about you and then they thought you do not understand Korean? Sometimes asks, have I ever overheard people talking bad about me in Korean? Sometimes, but it's not common because Korean people know nowadays that anyone could be listening. In fact, in Korean, they have a really common expression. 낱말은 새가 듣고 반말은 쥐가 듣는다. So it's an expression that means the words of the day, the birds listen to, and the words of the night, the mice listen to. So basically, always there's something listening that you might not expect. So this is I know we can have this kind of expression like, you never know who's listening. We might say this in English, but in Korean, it's a much more commonly known expression. They use it a lot. So they're aware that if they say something in public, someone might hear them. It might be another Korean. It could be a foreigner who speaks Korean. So they're careful not to say insults or talk bad about people. Now, an exception would be if you've seen Seinfeld, there was the nail salon where Elaine takes Jerry Stiller. Anyway, takes the guy who speaks Korean to the nail salon, finds out they're talking bad about her. But that might be for much older people. I don't think you're going to encounter that where people are saying something bad about you in Korean and, oh, I understood what you said. It's just, they're not going to say something bad about you in the first place within earshot. I think the once I had it happen where someone was saying something negative about it wasn't about me, but it was like America in general. But it's not common. 탈 줄 몰라요. Yes, Trevon. Yes, Jiaovu. Spelling mistake. I almost said smelling mistake. Spelling mistake, Jiaovu, but for bicycle. At least I think so. I can't really tell from, it's like 3 feet away and really small. This has happened for sure. Any stories of it happening that you can recall, that you can remember? I know it's happened to me once, that I remember one time. I have the memory that it happened, but I have no details about what it was. I just remember one time turning around to someone and speaking in Korean. But yeah, it's really rare. I think it was a store owner. Anyway, yeah, I don't remember the details. I just remember it's happened before, but it's very rare. Okay, I'm going to give you an answer here. 자전거, a bicycle. 타다, to ride. So to ride a bike. Now this is also the same verb you use for to ride any sort of method of transportation. So car, a bus, a taxi. You might say ride, or you might even say get on. So 버스를 타다. You could say ride the bus, but it also can mean get on the bus. So like 빨리 타, like hurry up and ride is literally what it means, but it's hurry up and get on the bus. Like, you know, your friends going to the bus. 빨리 타, get on, get on. 자전거를 탈 줄 알아요. So I know how to ride a bike. 자전거를 탈 줄 알아요. Or 자전거를 탈 줄 몰라요. I don't know how to ride a bike. 자전거를 탈 줄 알아요, 몰라요, whatever you want to say. I know or don't know how to ride a bike. And this is a skill. Again, you're not just saying the way to ride a bike or the method of riding a bike, but you're saying how to ride a bike like it's a skill. I know this skill of riding a bike. Last sentence for this form. There's still more we have to talk about. This is a longer lesson than you probably expected. I don't know how to cook. 요리하다 is to cook. So I want you to make the sentence, I know or I don't know how to cook. Me, I do know how to cook. In fact, I cook a lot. Nothing like too fancy, but yeah, just general stuff. I'm pretty comfortable in the kitchen. I know or I do not know how to cook. 요리하다 is the verb you're going to want to use. I know I could read it easily if I go up to the screen, but I want to stay in the camera here. Maybe once or twice on a bus, Jesse says. I don't remember the details, hopefully not about how I smell. Yeah, it was definitely how you smell like garlic. So that's a thing. I've heard this both ways. I've heard some Koreans say that foreigners smell like garlic, but I've also heard some Koreans say that they heard other foreigners say Koreans smell like that. There's not really a consensus on it, but there is a consensus that foreigners smell, but that's for a biological reason, because we have, for whatever reason, we sweat a lot more from under our arms and Koreans don't. Genetics, I guess. So you get this problem where a foreigner, and not every country, every country is a little bit different, but in general, we sweat more and we might smell more than the Korean because we sweat a lot more underneath our arms. So yeah, sometimes you might hear someone say, oh, that foreigner smelled weird or something. They're literally just saying that the person smelled weird. They're not trying to be like mean so much. Yeah, and it's kind of true sometimes. We eat the same food as Koreans, but we'll smell differently afterward because it comes out here, and Koreans, it will not come out there. It'll come out different sweat glands, I guess. If someone's familiar with biology, they could let me know the reason for that. I don't know why. Okay, let's see these sentences. Aneki, perfect. Traga, perfect. Xandria, perfect. Oh, lexica. So a note for lexica, when you're using any verb with hada, when you're attaching adverbs to them, you want to attach the adverb right before the verb portion. Now, because hada is separable from 요리, you want to use 요리 잘 하다 or 잘 못하다 or something like that, or 빨리 하다, 자주 하다, any like adverb, you want to stick it before the actual verb, and the verb is 하다. So you could say 잘 요리해요, makes sense, but more natural would be 요리 잘해요. So I'm good at cooking. Evan, 요리할 줄 알아요. Nice, Evan, perfect. Lexica, having a different diet makes people smell different. Yeah, definitely. What you eat, you are what you eat. And the things that you eat make you smell different to other people. So yeah, it's normal. 요리를 잘해요. Okay, I'm just going to read some of the other comments now. Estelle, nice. Shadow Spoon, you might want to say 알지만, not that I knew how to cook, but that I know how to cook, but I'm not good at it, is what you wanted to say. So 알지만 would be more natural for that. Annie, nice. 알죠. Or you could say 알지 if you wanted to be casual. So 알죠 or 알지, but not 알아지. Trevon, nice. Jake says 요리사라서 요리할 줄 알아요. Oh, nice, Jake. What do you cook? This is true. Deodorant in the past. Yeah, there are many things that used to be impossible to find. But now you can. Deodorant was something that was a rarity in Korea, though nowadays you can find it at any supermarket. But it used to be very hard to find. Okay. Okay. 요리할 줄 몰라요. So I do not know how to cook. 요리할 줄 몰라요. I don't know how to cook. Someone could ask, 요리할 줄 알아요? Do you know how to? 요리할 줄 아세요? Do you know how to cook? You can respond, 아니요. 요리할 줄 몰라요. Or 못해요. You can just say, I can't. Okay, we're not done. There are a few more notes I need to give you, and the biggest one is, what's the difference between using 줄 and 것? For example, there is the form 것을 알다, 것을 모르다, like to know the thing or to not know the thing. And I actually did a live stream about that. If you want to learn about that form, 것, with 알다 and 모르다, check out my live stream on October 17th, 2021. So it was over 2 years ago. And that time I did a live stream about the form. Actually, I'll write it up here. The full form is 이라는 것을 알다. And that form means to know that. So what's the difference? Well, these both can mean to know that, right? 있는 줄 알았어요. Like, let's say, let's do something really simple. 한국 사람인 줄 알았어요. So I thought, or I knew, or expected, that someone is a Korean. But you could also say, 한국 사람이라는 것을 알고 있었어요. Or 알았어요. I knew that that person is a Korean. And you can translate them both in English, and they sound very similar in English. They're very different in Korean because 줄 is used for saying that you simply know or don't know something in English, but the literal meaning is more of just your expectation. So if you say, I knew something with 줄, what you're saying is that's what I thought. I thought I knew that. Yeah, it's what I expected. So it could be, yeah, of course I knew it, or, oh, I thought so. It's an expectation. 것 is used for something that's actually a fact, a piece of information. So you can translate this form not just as I know that, but as I knew the fact that. Like everyone knows this is true, and I knew that's true. So this is for things that are already established as fact. Like, for example, that person is Korean. Like, obviously they're Korean. You can say, 나도 그 사람이 당연히 한국 사람이라는 거 알고 있었어요. Like, of course I knew the fact that that person is also a Korean. You wouldn't say, 한국 사람인 줄 알았어요. Like, oh, I knew he was Korean, because it's obvious. It's an established fact. It would sound strange if you said, 철수가 한국 사람인 줄 알았어요. I know we made this sentence, but it would be kind of awkward to say that because 철수, his name is freaking Korean. His name is Korean. Why would you say, I thought he would be a Korean? Like, unless there was some sort of doubt over that fact, right? Like, oh, someone else said that 철수 is from America. I knew he was Korean though. Then it's okay. But if it's an established fact, use 것 and learn about that in the live stream where I already taught that in detail. So yeah, translate this as the fact that. And then when you translate it more naturally, you can remove the fact that in your translation, but that's literally what it is. It's for some sort of fact, some sort of well-known piece of information. Also, another thing to know is that 것 is not only used with 알다 or 모르다, but 것 is just a regular word meaning a thing, and you can see this form and this used with practically everything. So, 것을 배웠어요. I learned the fact that, or 알게 되었어요. I came to know the fact that. Like, there are so many different verbs you can use this with, but you cannot use it with 줄. So keep that in mind. 줄, 것 has much more, a wider range of verbs and things that you can use it with, and 줄 is really restricted. So, okay. And then there's one more thing. Oh yeah. And there's one more form that is commonly confused by learners as being similar, which is also different. And that's 는지. I've heard a lot of people ask, what's the difference between using 줄 and using 는지? For example, when you're using it to say how to, you can say something like this. Actually, let me do the sentence we just did. So we have two sentences here. Sentence 1. 자전거를 탈 줄 알아요. I know how to ride a bike. Sentence 2. 자전거를 어떻게 타는지 알아요. I know how to ride a bike. Exactly the same sentence in English, same meaning, but different in a lot of ways. For one, the conjugation of these is totally different. 타는지. This doesn't use 탈지, but 타는지. Also, you have to add in 어떻게 in order to get the meaning of how you ride a bike. Otherwise, it would just be 자전거를 타는지 알아요. I know someone does ride a bike. It doesn't quite make sense. You need to add in 어떻게, meaning how, in order to get that meaning of how to. Also, using 는지, 어떻게 는지, instead has a slightly more formal feeling than using 줄. 줄 is more conversational sounding, so it's more common. 는지 sounds a little bit more fancy, a little bit more formal than this one. And 어떻게 는지 알아요 has more uses because you can use 는지 in a lot of different ways. 는지 has way more uses also than 줄. So it's used here just to mean how to, but you'll also see tons of other uses for 는지 or 지 I have a whole other live stream about that if you want to learn about them. But if you're only curious about how 어떻게 했는지 is different from 줄, it's the same as far as translation goes. You can use either one. But for conversation, I recommend using 줄. It's more common. Okay. That is our lesson for today. Before I answer, I'm going to take some questions actually, either about the lesson or just about anything. Before I take some questions, I'm just going to really quickly get a thumbnail image. One of those I'll use. I don't know which one. Okay. Any other questions about the lesson? I'm going to start a Q&A right now, so you can ask any questions about what we just learned or about any other topic or just anything related to Korea or whatever. I'll take some questions for just about like 10 minutes and then we'll stop for today. Okay. Really wish I could see the comments more close, but I'll just be looking over here at the comments. I can see them on my computer now. Okay, let's see. Cody says, 수업이 있는 줄 몰랐는데 이 문법, sorry, it's like hard to read because it's so small. 이 문법과 with, so you want to use 과 after a consonant and 와 after a vowel. 는지 알다의 사이를 이해하기 좀 어려워요. Oh, okay, that's just what I talked about. Thanks for 가르쳐주셔서 감사합니다. Yeah, you're welcome. 한국 음식하고 이탈리아 음식하고 일본 음식을 요리하는 것을 좋아합니다. Yeah, I liked cooking. Sure. So you like cooking Korean and Italian and Japanese food. That's cool. All very different from each other. Sky says, Billy, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Sky. Is your actual name Sky? If so, your Korean name is Haner. There you go. Your Korean name's Haner by default. BTS Army says, I know how to ride a bike and I know how we have to do to ride a bike. I'm not sure what you mean. Traga says, it might be a stupid question, but why do we pronounce 맛있어요 but 맛없어요? Why is a good question that I can't tell you the answer to. Other than that's because people started pronouncing it that way more common. And that's what ended up sticking. So it's now accepted as correct. But I mean, the why is kind of explained in the sound change rule itself. Because 맛 is pronounced as 맛. But then why do you say 맛있어요, not 맛있어요? But you cannot say 맛없어요. So why is it backward from this and this? For this one's 맛있다, it has to be with this. But this one, the exact same sound, 맛없다, has to be 맛없다. You cannot say 맛없다. And that only happens when you're using this without a subject marker. When you have the subject marker, they're both the exact same. 맛있어. You can't say 맛있어, actually. 맛있어. But it's kind of a little bit less common. Typically, it's 맛있어. Anyway. Why? Yeah, I wish I could tell you. But I'll probably research it and make a video about this in the future. I think that's actually on my Korean FAQ list. But it'll be several months before I get to that. I'll have to look it up to find out the real reason because my understanding of this, it makes sense to me because it fits sound change rules, but why it never happened to this one, I would just say because that's the way it is. That's because people just didn't use it that way and it just became like this. But there isn't like an underlying special reason that I know of. Okay, let's see. 것 같다, 줄 알다, 다고 생각하다. Differences. I did 것 같다, a separate live stream. That's simply for your thoughts, for things that seem to be a certain way, as well as 다고 생각하다. I did a whole live stream specifically about those differences. So that was a few months ago. I recommend checking that out. Because that would be a whole lesson to describe the differences between three major forms. But they are not related at all. Nightshade says, I saw an example sentence. Oh, I'm going to look here. Where did you see the example? Let's see. What are some traits of your American accent? Aniki says, my accent, so I'm from LA, and my accent, I've noticed some traits about it by comparing it with other people. So I talk fast when I'm not trying to teach. I slur my words a lot. We do that a lot in California, is we mash our words together. And I feel like it would be very difficult for a Korean to learn American English and then come to Los Angeles and interact with regular people, because one thing we like to do in LA more than other states is smash our words together. Like we just like to talk. So we'll fill in as much space as possible. We talk a lot, we talk fast, and smash things together. That's, I think, one of the difficult things about this area of English for Los Angeles is that we do that a lot. Xandria says, what's something you've learned about Korean that you feel like you should have known way earlier? I think I should have known way earlier that most of Korean grammar makes sense, because I didn't know this and I wasn't taught this way. I was taught it is the way it is because that's the way it is for pretty much everything that I learned in the beginning. And then when I would ask Koreans, they would tell me the same thing. It's just more natural that way. And then I would take Korean classes and they would say the same thing. Oh, it's just because that's more natural sounding. And then when I started teaching, I realized it's the exact opposite. No, there are some things that are simply, they are the way they are. 맛없다, 맛있다. In fact, there might be a reason for that, but as far as I know, there's not. For questions, some specific questions, there will be answers like, that's just the way it is. That's why it's more natural. But for grammar, not for like specific words, but for grammar forms, there is very little out there that is just the way it is because it is. Pretty much everything makes sense. Like there's a logical flow to Korean grammar. And I wish I knew that as a beginner, because it would have helped me to understand the usage of a lot of this grammar when I was a beginner, instead of having to go back and learn it later and then realize, oh, of course, this form actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't get it. Now I get it. So like true, like you can learn exactly how it works, the form for it, what verbs it's using. Like this is the type of nuance it has. This is how it's different. You can learn all these things. And I didn't know any of that when I was a beginner. I just learned, 줄 알다 means, I know how to. In fact, that's the only way I knew it, was how to. I didn't even know it meant to think when I was a beginner. Learn Korean with K-pop. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Learn K-pop. I'll give you 2 dabs. Evan says, this is the first time I've caught one of your live lessons, and I've seen your name a lot in the comments. I didn't know this was your first time coming to a live. Oh, I meant in Korean. What are the traits of I don't have a big accent in Korean. I do when I teach though. And you can probably hear that if you're someone who already knows Korean, or if you're a native and you're watching me right now, you can hear when I give my example sentences, I have a strong accent because I am thinking in English, I admit. When I am saying like my example sentences, 요리할 줄 몰라요. I'm thinking in English. I'm just trying to say the sounds clearly for a learner to hear them. I'm not saying this like I would say to a Korean. I have to switch. I need a second. I can switch my brain into Korean. And if I were saying this in context, 요리할 줄 아니? 요리할 줄 아는데? This is there we go. That's my Korean accent coming out. I don't have a thick accent. I don't have a thick intonation. I've asked my friends about it. I just kind of sound like not Korean, but close enough. But I don't have like a distinctive, like, oh, that sounds like Billy or something like that, if you're wondering. But I have to switch my brain for a few seconds. I have to say something in Korean and then respond to it in Korean before my brain will switch to speaking Korean. When I'm teaching though, it's like 100% my brain is thinking English and I'm just reading this syllable by syllable so you hear it. Because if I say, 자는? 요리할 줄 알아. If I say like that, that's not helpful for beginners. 요리할 줄 알아. And I can't even do it again. I have to switch back into Korean. I need a second to switch back so I can make it with my accent again in Korea. 김치 안 좋아할 줄 알았는데. 난 김치 안 좋아할 줄 알았는데. There we go. Okay, it takes me a second. So you have to wait if you want that. But that's too fast. It's not helpful. So I don't do it. You won't hear me speaking like that except in my videos where I'm speaking in Korean. Then you can hear me speaking in Korean. But for these lessons, I have a really distinctive teacher speech, teacher style of speaking whenever I'm giving these sentences. That's nothing I can really do anything about because my brain is, I can't go back and forth between Korean and English naturally. I have to tell my brain, like, okay, we're going to do Korean. Switch. Okay, now I'm in Korean and now I can't go back to English. I have to switch back to English. So, yeah. Oh, Evan says, not my first lesson. Okay, that's why I thought I'd seen you before, so I was confused. The first time you didn't get lost. That's nice. Cody Smith says, 줄 알다 모르다 also contains meaning of to know of something about something. 오늘, let me see this. 오늘 시험이 있는 줄 몰라서 공부를 안 했어. Yeah. So that's what we learned today. Yeah. So I didn't expect 시험 있는 줄 몰라서. So I didn't expect that there would be a test today. Yeah. Same thing. Later, Jesse. 칼국수 만들어 달라 했어. 보고 싶다며. Yeah, I miss you too, Jesse. We'll meet again someday. 칼국수 sounds good. Okay, let's see. Xandria says, I love the dialect videos, especially analyzing K-pop groups and the saturi soup they swim in. Yeah, we'll see if I can make more of those. The TXT video didn't get that many views, so I can't do another video right away, but I would like to do another one next year. A different group though. Getting there slowly, but the grammar is killing me, but it's still better than before. Nice. Cody Smith said, I joined late. Sorry. It's okay. You can always watch the abridged version. Since you're a member, you can watch the abridged version of this live stream tonight. I'll do editing on it as soon as we finish today. Probably finish editing like 7 o'clock. And then I'll post it on my YouTube. So all of the members can watch the abridged version tonight. Everyone else can watch it later in the week. I think like Tuesday or Wednesday, you can watch the abridged version if you're not a member. So you still get to watch it for free. You just have to wait. Okay. Taeyang Kuma says, I need to restart studying properly with a good schedule. Good luck with that. Let me know if you need help. More questions. A few more questions. Lexica says, once again, lobbying for an accent video about 17. I don't know anything about 17. Some of those groups, though, have so many members that I simply cannot put them on into a video unless I knew that I would somehow make money from that video. I can't do it. For example, the TXT video took me 3 weeks. Like, I'm not just saying I started and 3 weeks later I was done. It was like, that's all I did. I ate, I breathed, I slept TXT. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. For that entire time. Like, I woke up every morning, 6:20 in the morning, got ready from 8 o'clock until 7 p.m. With a break for lunch. I was just watching TXT videos and taking notes and then writing the video. All that stuff, like, that's all I could do. And I could have done, I could have worked on a book. I could have worked on a different project I'm working on. That's all I could do for the entire time because there's so much stuff I had to watch, to analyze, to do a proper analysis. I'm not just listening to them and reacting live. I want to actually give some proper analysis. So I can't do those videos often just because of how much time they take. And some groups are just so big, like, what is it? One of the groups, I can't even remember. They have like 13 members. Is that 17? Does 17 have 13 members? Anyway, like, there would be no way I could do that. That would take like 4 weeks. If I were rushing, it would take 4 weeks to do a video where there are like 12 or 13 members in a group. I just can't unless like I have a rich, okay, if you're one of my followers, and just so you know, I'm not making a good life doing this Korean. I'm a teacher, okay? So that should tell you something about how much I get paid. I get donations. I have Patreon members and I have some YouTube ads, but that should give you an idea. If you're rich and you want me to do a video about a specific group, send me a message. Maybe you can hire me. I can You can pay me what I would not get during a month, and I will work all on whatever video you want related to Korean. But otherwise, I have to do them sporadically, like maybe 1 a year, 2 a year, just because I don't have time. I want to, but I just can't take out a whole month to do a video more than maybe once a year. So yeah, that's why you won't see these too often. Okay, 돌솥 비빔밥 만들었고 이제 먹을 거예요. 선생님 감사합니다. Oh, 돌솥 bibimbap is really good. My favorite is the fly fish roe, I think it's called, 낙지알. I'm secretly learning because my family would definitely make fun of me because I'm learning because of K-pop. Who cares if you're learning Korean because of K-pop? Really? Like, why do you care what other people think? Right? Does it matter? If it matters, you obviously are going to care what your boss at work thinks because they're going to hire you or fire you. But regular people, like your friends, why do you care what random strangers on the internet think or what your friends think? Your friends are going to understand. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think. You can learn Korean for whatever reason. Who cares, right? You're happy. That's enough. Go make yourself happy. 태양's Kuma. Hey, Billy Sam, 화이팅. Thank you. Thank you, Taeyam's bear. I'll draw a little bear and give you 2 dabs. Annie says, can you make an Anki Droid vocabulary deck? I did. Check my Patreon. There's a deck. It's still actively being updated. The last time I updated, I think was earlier this year, but I'll do another update again once I've filtered it out because I have added so many words over the years that I'll just randomly find, or someone will tell me, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting word. Or maybe I see a word, I'm like, oh, that's a good word for beginners to know. It's just kind of random, but it's got a lot of advanced stuff. I'd say the majority is advanced vocabulary. And then the rest of it is like, oh, beginners should know this, like that sort of thing. And I think it's up to like 8,000 words and it's still growing. So yeah, you can get that on my Patreon page. If you really want it, like I wouldn't recommend beginners use it as their study deck because it has too many advanced words. But if you want it for a reference, or there's a word you heard and you don't know what it means, it might be in there with a better definition than Naver has. Yeah, there's some example sentences in there. Hanta, the usage for grammar, like a bunch of stuff is in there that's kind of fun. And it's the same deck that I use. So that's why it gets updated every once in a while because I'm using it and I'm filtering through it. And sometimes I'll delete words or add new words. Actually, quite often, I'll update the words if the definitions aren't very clear, then I'll change them. That was something about Michael Jackson if you had $100 donation. Yeah, I don't remember what that was, so I'm gonna say I forgot. But if you remind me, I might remember, but I totally forgot. Like someone wanted me to do Michael Jackson teaching. Was it that one? Michael Jackson teaches Korean? Buckle up, we're gonna learn some grammar today. Let me tell you the difference between these two forms. Yeah, something like that. It was Arnold. It was one of my bad impressions. It was either Michael Jackson or it was or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can do a few of these. I can also do ones that like a bad parody of Mickey Mouse. All right then, everyone, let's learn Korean. So it was one of my bad impressions teaching Korean. I think that's what it was. Or was it dancing one? I can't remember. One of those. Zandria says, let's all watch the TXT video and study it multiple times. We got to learn anyway. Yeah, feel free. It was really fun to make though, I'll say. It was a fun 3 weeks. That's what I liked about the BTS one. When I made the BTS one is I went so in depth, and I did it again for the TXT. I went so in depth to the group that I felt like I knew the group much better than the average fan, but I didn't know their songs. Like an average fan, a random fan would know more about the group's performance history, their songs, their dancing, all that. They would know way more than me, but then I would know way more about the members' personality than an average fan, because that's all I was focused on. And I can hear their personality really easily since, they speak in Korean. I could hear the way they speak to someone else. Instantly, you can tell what their personality is by the way that they talk. So that was kind of something I thought was fun. Was like, oh, I feel like I'm a member of the club now, even though I don't know most of their songs. I feel like I can join the club. AULFA says, every example sentence in Korean with Michael Jackson. I don't know if I could speak Korean as other characters. That would be hard. Simone, 한국어 할 줄 알아요. I guess I could kind of do it. 몰라요. Simone. 알아요. So you have Charsu and his friend Younghee, or I should say Younghee. I think all of these people could teach Korean. Michael Jackson would be kind of hard to teach. Arnold could teach Korean. I also can do a Shaggy. Mickey is, no problem. Mickey could teach. All right, then, let's learn about the difference between these two forms. Mickey, though, is pretty easy. Everyone can do a Mickey, I think. Even my kid can do a Mickey. What else? And then every character from the movie, every character from the movie Kung Pao, I have the same voice register as the voice actor from that movie. It's a terrible. Don't watch. Actually, it's the best movie and the worst movie ever made at the same time. I can. If you've seen that movie, I can do every character from that movie because I think I have the same voice as the guy. So they all match. So I could do all of those. And so maybe we'll do that later. I don't know. Is there a goal that you want? A donation goal, like something that you want if we hit a certain donation goal in a live stream? I haven't really asked this before. Is there something that you would all want to happen if we hit, say, $100 in a stream or $200 in a stream or something like that? Or just a total? I don't know. Let me know. I'm open to ways. Killer Clown's voice? What's Killer Clown's voices? Taeyang's Kuma says Batman. I can't do Batman. I'm Batman. I mean, that's it. That's all I can say. Swear to me. It's a bad impression of Christian Bale's Batman. No, I don't think Batman could teach Korean very well. Shave your head. I don't know if I'd want to do it on $100. It's not a huge deal though, because I wear a hat anyway. I don't think I'd do it for 100 because I like having hair. I mean, it's not like the best hair in the world. I wish I had like a lot more, but it's hair. I like it. I'm worried if I shave it, it'll never come back. Well, I'll have to wear a wig, shave my hair, and then I'm just like bald. I'm not opposed to it though. I'm not going to say no, but I wouldn't do it for $100. Noraebang stream would be fun. I couldn't do a Noraebang stream on YouTube though because of copyright, but maybe I could do one on Twitch because Twitch simply just won't leave the stream up for watching afterward. Like you can stream there and then you have to, it won't save it, right? So that's how they kind of avoid their copyright problems. So I could do a Noraebang stream on Twitch, and I do have a bunch of songs I could sing for you all. Every time I go to Korea, I'll go to a Noraebang at least once. Yeah, Twitch would be better for that. I wouldn't be able to do that on YouTube because the video would immediately get shut down while I'm in the middle of singing like Piano Man or something for you. It would get claimed. Zandria says, don't feel embarrassed. I only knew BTS from their show, Run BTS. Yeah, I saw so many episodes of Run BTS. Run BTS was my second favorite resource for judging their speaking, but I actually found that their Weverse lives were a lot more insightful because on Run BTS, they're all clearly acting. That's not how they normally talk to each other, and that's not how they normally behave. And that's understandable. It was the same thing with TXT as well. They're acting on their shows. But when you watch their Weverse, they're like, they couldn't care less. They're just relaxing and talking to each other. So you get a lot of insight into their behavior and their personality from those, I think. But the episodes, Run BTS, I almost said Run TXT. That's different. No. The Run BTS episodes were obviously more fun to watch than the Weverse. But yeah, for research purposes, Weverse was better. Taeyong's Kuma says, what's your go-to song? When I'm by myself? Probably Piano Man. I can do Billy Joel decently. I can sing all his songs because it's kind of, his voice is kind of similar to mine for singing. And then what else? And then I have a few Korean songs that I also do decently, and a few Japanese songs because I used to do Japanese karaoke before I did Korean, so I could sing a few of those. Lately, my favorite one to sing would be the One Piece theme, even though I didn't really get into the show. And then let's see what else, and then a bunch of 80s songs. Yeah, a lot of 80s songs I also like to sing. Walk the Dinosaur is fun. Safety Dance is fun. And then Disney songs. I'll also go at the Disney songs. So Aladdin songs, those are all on the table. Little Mermaid, all good. Stuff like that is right up my alley. But a lot of the problem with a lot of Disney songs though is that there are so many duets that you have to find someone else to sing it with you. And usually people don't know them well enough. So it usually just means that I can sing A Whole New World with someone else if they want to. And that's pretty much it because people don't usually know the other duets. And then it'll even be on top of that, since they don't know A Whole New World, or that's actually the only one that they know. So it'll be A Whole New World, but they only know the Aladdin's part. So it ends up with me doing a terrible Jasmine impersonation while they sing the Aladdin part. And yeah, that's the majority of the time I've sang that song in a karaoke room. It's been me doing Jasmine's part and someone else doing Aladdin's part because that's all that they know. And yeah, I cannot do Jasmine's voice if you're wondering. It's not pretty. It does not sound like her. But I do my best in a higher register. Okay, Fox Cord asks, when will you hold your next live stream? The next live stream will be, again, next Sunday. My live streams are always on Sundays, always at the same time in Los Angeles time. So that will change depending on daylight savings time with what time it's going to be from where you're watching, but it's always the same time for me. Next Sunday, there will be another stream, but then the next Sunday after that, will be off. And then the next Sunday after that will be Christmas Eve. So I will do a stream, I think, but it'll be a different type of stream because I don't want to, I won't be able to do a live stream for class that day because that same evening I have to go to my mom's house. We're going to have dinner there, Christmas Eve dinner, open some presents, and I wouldn't be able to do a class and edit the video. Actually, I mean, I could, but then I wouldn't be able to edit the video until after Christmas. So yeah, probably I won't do a live stream that day, but I will do a stream. I mean, I won't do a live class, but I'll do a live stream. If that makes sense. Okay. Any other last minute questions? One more question, then I'll go. It's been a fun stream, but I don't want to go on too long. Annie says you should do one-to-one online tutoring. I do. Let me post that. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I do have one-on-one tutoring, but I don't recommend it. Okay, there's a benefit. The nice thing is you get to talk one-on-one with me and I can give you personal advice. You know, oh, you want tips for something like specific to your situation. Okay, great. But if you are looking for someone to do some like regular tutoring, I wouldn't recommend it because the type of tutoring I'm best at is going to be grammar teaching. If you want a conversation partner, I would say find a native Korean because they're going to be much cheaper. For me, I have to take away my time from editing or making projects, so I can't price it as low as I would. But other native Koreans do this all day. That's all they do is one-to-one tutoring. So they could. So you could get a conversation partner really cheap. If you have general questions though, feel free. That's what I made it for. Yeah. Anyway, that link should work. Brenda said, I missed the live stream. No, I will start this one from the beginning and then catch the next one. Yeah. Mike says, bro, you should team up with Xiaoma and become one of their AI tutors? What does that mean? I can't, how could I become an AI tutor? Do they have like recreations of tutors that will like, hello, welcome to your Korean lesson? I don't understand what that means. Why would I want to learn from an AI? Like, I already know that ChatGPT is a terrible Korean teacher. It just it's like the most confident and worst Korean teacher ever. Even in its newest update, it can't do it. It still teaches wrong stuff all the time, and it'll be 100% confident. It'll be like, nope, that's right. You're wrong. And even while it's wrong. And then if you correct it, it'll be like, oh, you're right. Oh yeah, of course, I knew that. But then it'll still repeat the same wrong answer next time you ask it. So yeah, I wouldn't do anything AI for teaching yet. Billy is an AI tutor. I don't know what AI tutor means though. Is it, like I said, does it just take a picture of my face and then makes my mouth move? Something like from like Conan O'Brien's old show? Like, what is this? Anyway, I'll stop here. Thank you everyone for coming. If you have any questions further, feel free to ask them in my free Discord channel. I will post a link to that in the chat. You can interact with other Korean learners, ask questions 24/7. And yeah, again, it's completely free. Make sure to join up. I'm in there too, so you can find me there all the time. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next week in our next live stream. And make sure to vote. Tomorrow there is a vote for the live stream for what you want to learn. It's going to be, I think they're both advanced level topics. Yeah, so you can get an advanced level next week, I think. Okay, see you everyone. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.